Here, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about some low cap robotic altcoins that can easily 10x for you guys, right? Because we already know physical AI is the next frontier. That is going to include your embodied AI, that is going to include your robotics, right? Taxis, things like that. This is going to be the next frontier that we're going to be looking at. As you guys know, I did make a video that the next, if you guys missed the AI agent trade, you do not want to miss out on the robotics trade, right? This is going to be talking about some low caps that you guys can also target. Now, while I was editing this video here, some interesting things actually popped up on the feed that I just recently saw that actually excited some people on talking about robotics again. As you guys can see, Sam Altman is now basically saying that OpenAI robotics is hiring, right? This is a big step right now because we know OpenAI, they has been focused on more of like the LLMs and a little bit of the agents because they also bought out OpenClaw, right? But now they're going to be hiring for their robotics division. And then you can see Cyber Robo put out this tweet here: AI model companies that don't enter the realm of physical AI have no future. Google Gemini Robotics, Alibaba Qwen VLA, Menstrual AI entered the industrial physical AI field through the acquisition of MEAI. Meta acquires ARI, building androids for robotics through humanoid robot control, self-learning, and full body control. ByteDance, Seed Robotics, CGR3, CGRRL. I hate all these abbreviations and models, man. ByteDexter Robot Hand. But now you also have OpenAI Robotics. When are we going to get Anthropic Robotics? Remember, this is how you're going to start to slowly see everything start to shift over to physical AI. I told you guys the roadmap for AI is simple, pretty much simple. You're going to have your AI agents, right? Then after that, what do they need? They're going to need a physical body. That's where your physical AI comes in, right? That's going to be your humanoids, your embodied AI, your robo taxis, all of these, right? This is all going to be the next iteration to where we're going at. It's so easy to figure out what is coming next when you look into AI. You just got to look into things. So I recently saw this article about robotics as the next AI frontier, which I've been telling you guys from a while back now, right? So let me give you guys the robot crypto thesis as of right now, right? So physical AI is moving from lab demos to commercial deployments. You're looking at Tesla Optimus, Figure AI, Boston Dynamics, which are the headline names, right? But the infrastructure layer is going to be the important part, right? This is going to be your data, the execution frameworks, the robot marketplace, and that is where the asymmetric crypto bet is going to live, right? They're not going to be meme coins. They're going to be infrastructure plays for the sector that can actually grow as the sector grows. This is why you can target some low caps. And actually, if you look into the narrative of the robotic altcoins, they're pretty much all low caps, just under about 100 million market cap. But of course, under that, it gets very tough to pick out some of the good winners. We recently just had Ex Machina launch not too long ago. I do got a full in-depth video coming out on that one very soon here. But you scroll down, you got some other ones that you can look into. But after that, honestly, after about Ex Machina, it gets tough to figure out what low market cap altcoins should we actually be targeting if we want to like a little degen target in that whole robotics narrative here. Well, luckily for you guys, I have 3 that we can put on the radar essentially as of right now. So first, we're going to have Roba, which is going to be the robot intelligence marketplace, building basically the marketplace for robot models, worlds, data sets, and skills for verifiable provenance, right? Creators build, train, share, and monetize robot intelligence, right? So you can basically think of this as like GitHub meets like the app store for physical AI, right? Right now you're looking at it at about $1 million market cap, which isn't too crazy. When they finally announced that they was going to do some inference stuff, like some big updates, you can see this thing start to pump here, right? It pumped up a little bit. Now it's at $1 million market cap. I actually think this is a pretty solid bet in the whole robotics narrative. We're going to talk about exactly why that is, because if you guys watch my previous video on inference, right, you guys can see how OpenServe is looking to make inference cheaper through their serve reasoning model, right? So now they're going to be integrating that serve reasoning into Roba, right? Bring in our no-code robotic solution to the market, and had the pleasure to join their closed beta. Advanced robotics used to require a full team of specialists. Now you can build a real behavior in our no-code studio. This Unitree G1 hand grasp function that was entirely written by the serve standard model inside the Roba no-code studio. This is a small glimpse of what we can do in our platform, right? In our benchmarks across real builders tasks, serve reasoning models match the quality bar we needed to cut our AI costs by 80%, right? That is huge. Cutting your AI costs by 80% is crazy, right? So serve reasoning would now be the default inference engine for the upcoming release of our Roba no code studio on June 1st. So by the time this video come out, this no code studio will be out. But not only that, the robotics marketplace is scaling fast, but the infrastructure layer is still wide open. This is where Roba compute is their answer, right? GPU backed simulations, AI agents that execute tasks, and remember, robotics inference at scale, accessible with the Roba token, right? If you're building in robotics and AI, this is the layer that makes everything move faster, which is also coming in June, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into this compute thing. Now, they put out this article on robotics is consolidating into a real stack. No code plus compute will decide who actually builds, right? So you can see they have their no code studio that's going to be coming out very soon, but then they are also going to tackle the compute side. So the upcoming Roba compute service fits into the same shift towards the high iteration robotics development, right? Where teams need affordable access to simulations and training runs to keep moving. If robotics is modular, then compute becomes the fuel that lets builders iterate at speeds the new task demands. That matters for startups, labs, and solo builders who can't afford to spin up a full-time infrastructure team before they can even test the robot policy, right? So they're tackling compute here, right? The real frontier is making robots easier to build, easier to validate, and easier to ship. Simulation platforms are getting more realistic. Foundation models are becoming more general, and deployment stacks are getting more portable. The winner will be the teams that can reduce friction across workflows, from model to motion to monetization. So you can see how Roba is looking to fit into this robotics ecosystem, robotics narrative, through their no code studio, and how they're looking to tackle and make things easier for AI builders that want to build within robotics with their compute layer. Now, you guys already know we're going to have to check out what Asai has to think about Roba, because I asked Asai about these 3 altcoins here. Now, before we get into talking about that, I would like to ask you guys, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers. If you guys would like to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment what you guys think down below, and while you guys are down here, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily, and you guys can ask your questions about the best crypto group out there and the best terminal. As you guys know, we have been killing these trades recently, using these trades to build up more dry powder to have on the side, getting ready to DCA into our main portfolio, or just have cash ready for whenever we need it for this crypto bull market that is going to be coming very soon here. But you don't just get the best crypto calls out there, you also get access to the best crypto terminal, which is going to be the Altcoin Chasers HQ. And as you guys can see, you guys can go on the post on Patreon. It will tell you guys everything that this terminal brings you, from AI analysts to help you build and manage your portfolio, to tracking smart money, to having a live community watch list, to token unlocks. Everything you can use in one terminal, guys. Everything. I mean everything. You guys can also check out the video here to see how everything is working, and then in the same post you get access to the 40% discount code using Asai 2026. So if you guys want to test out the first month, you guys can use that code, test out the group, get your feet wet, see how you guys like it, right? And lastly, if you guys are looking for a cold storage wallet, I use Tangem. If you guys would like to use the same, use code everything altcoin. This will save you guys 10% off your purchase. And not only this is a cold storage wallet, but it doubles down as a debit card as well, allowing you to spend your USDC or USDT that you guys have in that wallet. So this is a pretty useful hardware wallet. Links for all of that would be in the description down below. And let's continue on with the video here. So I asked it about the 3 altcoins in this video here, right? All three are in the robotics and AI agent intersection, right? Which is exactly where real world AI build out is going, right? Jensen Huang literally said that robots are 3 to 5 years from mass deployment this week, but the quality gap between them is massive, right? So first, let's talk about Roba here. The description is legit. People-centric robotics platform with a creator hub, cloud simulation studio, and a marketplace, the infrastructure layer for standardizing how robots get built and monetized. It's the latest speculative product of the three. Now, the signal is pretty much 55% buy pressure. This is off of Nascent. We get all our data through everything that you guys can use in crypto right now, right? All right, so the GitHub is live, and it is one of the few robotic tokens sitting inside the X402 ecosystem on base. You only have I think you have maybe 3. You're gonna have Strike Robot, I think Strike Combat, Strike Robot. We're gonna talk about those 2 later. Well, we're only gonna talk about one later. And then you have this, right? The Coinbase incubated agent payment stack. If X402 adoption grows, Roba can benefit off the settlement layer adjacent asset, right? So it's okay on pretty much Roba right now, and the entry and exit is real size will move the price 5 to 10% on its own. Not to place large capital in this because it is a low market cap altcoin. You guys know how quickly these things could move, but if you're looking for a good low market cap altcoin, I do think Roba should be on that list. Next, you got Strike Robot, which I think is the highest market cap of the 3. It did have a nice little run, especially after it announced that partnership with Venice. It actually pumped. We called this out in the Discord group when it first came out. I did not hold through the big pumpage it had. I won't lie about that, but that happened because of the partnership with Venice. But we'll see if it's going to come back down as of right now, but it is looking very good, and they're looking to build out a lot of different things here. Now, I mentioned the partnership with Venice, right? If a project could get a partnership with Venice, I think that's going to be huge, right? Because Venice is building out something very strong in crypto as of right now. You could have some ties, crypto could have some ties to it, right? That is pretty big for that ecosystem as well. So the partnership involves Venice credit sponsorship. So they actually get some credits that's sponsored by Venice, right? And then a co-development with Strike Robot to become the VLM reasoning and inference layer for robots, starting with SR agentic and SR platform. So kicking it off with the VLM here, right? Venice as a VLM reasoning engine inside SR agentic, right? Handling vision, language, understanding, reasoning across complex environments and natural language reporting through its OpenAI compatible API. The fast edge loop stays where it belongs, which is going to be on the device, right? Paid clients get private inference and base settled audits log, right? So with Venice as the inference API powering the platform, you can describe an environment or drop a reference image, and Venice handles the inference that feeds the 3D pipeline into the Isaac Lab and Mujo Co. I think that's how you say that. So here's like the little key part I want to highlight for this. The community of robot enthusiasts who hold SR and VVV will get access to co-training with us for free while enjoying an SR reward pool for quality contributions. So essentially, if you hold SR token and the VVV tokens, you get access to the co-training with them, Strike Robot, for free, completely free, while also enjoying a reward pool for you contributing to that contribution or whatever, right? So this is looking a little interesting here, and we'll see how this is going to play out going a little bit forward. So let's see what Asai has to say. So the read: full stack humanoid robotics. SR agentic gives robot perception, right? Reasoning and physical control designed for factories and high-risk facilities. This maps directly into NVIDIA's Jensen Huang robot in every factory narrative, right? Now the signal: Venice ecosystem integration means it rides the VVV coattails. VVV keeps printing. VVV holders are looking for the next Venice adjacent microcap to rotate into. We've talked about this in the Discord group a bunch of times. If you're able to have a connection to Venice in this period in time right now, if they're able to, highlight you for working with them, retweet them, this is going to be huge for that project, which is why I said Strike Robot took off as soon as they highlighted that they were working with Venice. I think this is like the first project, then we've seen a cohort of other projects also doing the same. SR fits that profile perfectly. The GitHub is live with actual repos and the team is posting. Lastly, we do have a project here. I was struggling to find the third altcoin for you guys, right? I was looking deep into everything, but then I looked a little bit into Codecs here, Codeflow, which a lot of you guys, when we talk about robotics, you guys mentioned this a few times, but I tried to tell you guys, when I see a contract with pump in it, I don't really take it too seriously because I don't know, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And of course, this video, for the first time, we're actually talking about something on Solana for a while, right? So Codecs here, the execution layer for autonomous agents and robots. It's also being built on peaq here. If you guys don't know, it's also built on peaq, right? So private alpha users, they have about 500 private alpha users and about 10,000 plus hours of usage already. The operator toolkit released for builder operators that work across desktop, browser, simulation, and robots, right? Standardize how machines perceive the world and execute tasks, build once, deploy everywhere, and it's going to be integrated into the whole peaq ecosystem, which is why you can see here they do have their contract here on Solana, but you can also see they're on that peaq ecosystem here, sitting at about $3 million market cap, $4.1 million FDV, very low trading value. But a lot of these robotic altcoins do have low trading value because no one's really paying attention to the sector besides me, EA. You know, I've been trying to tell you guys, pay attention to robotics. Is going to take off very soon here. Now, this is one tweet I seen that actually made me actually like Codecs, right? This is actually from the chief business officer from peaq, right? Actually, why am I not following them? I should be following them, right? peaq and Codecs are working on liberation of robotics from fundamental angles, right? The enablement of financial autonomy for robots, the enablement of economic activity for robots, the enablement of builders to become hardware and robotic entrepreneurs. The next era of robotics must be open source, right? So now, after seeing that, I also seen this post here. Until today, getting robots into a simulation took 3 weeks. Now you can see from this post here, it doesn't take that long here, right? So robotics have been most gated field in AI. The cost of entry has been weeks of install pain, a workstation GPU, and a PhD level tool, right? So with their sim arena, this is their new thing that they're announcing here, is the sim arena, which replaces all of that with one tab. Build a scene, drive a robot, capture training data, and export to Lee Robot. LeBron James, Lee Robot. Anyone see that? It's just me. Okay, sorry. One scene description and every engine, right? No install, no GPU, no license fees. You can see all of this is going to be happening here. The sim arena is on ramp to Codecs robotic stack. Coming next is going to be your world model scenes, AI agents, chat to build scenes, sensor sims, digital twins, URFDF builder, and headless API, and more. So these guys are really building as of right now, and the fact that they're being highlighted by peaq a lot actually makes me intrigued by these guys. And they posted this about a few months ago, right? Most people think robot intelligence only applied to physical robot. It doesn't. Codecs applies the same vision language action loop to software. It sees what's on your screen, understand what you ask, and carries out the clicks, typing, and app actions needed to get it done. The same intelligence that will one day run robots in physical world can already operate and scale inside the software systems we use today. So this is their VLA that they're going to be pretty much dropping here. As you guys can see, they do have an article that they dropped back in 2025. So they've been building for a little bit here. So it's going to get very interesting what Codecs is going to be building here. But let's see what Asai has to say. So the read is, this is the most technically ambitious altcoin of the three, pretty much. Operated platform built on vision language actions, AI that sees, reasons, and act across screens or robotic systems. Fabric, the multi-cloud execution layer for GPU heavy workloads. This is compute infrastructure for AI agents, not just the agents itself, right? It's on Pump Fund, which means it's launched via a meme coin infrastructure. This is why I didn't like that it had a contract via Pump Fund, but also you guys already seen that it's also on the peaq chain as of right now. So that is going to be pretty good for it as well. As peaq starts to grow, I do believe those that are in that ecosystem will grow with it. So of the three here, what Asai has to say. My take, SR is the cleanest setup in the batch, right? Of course, it has the strongest 30-day momentum, the highest buy pressure, Venice ecosystem linkage, and its fraction of the robotic TAM without dilution overhang, right? If you want robotics exposure without touching VVVs, FDV, of course, it's going to talk about SR here. But Roba is the deeper value play here at a $1 million market cap. The X402 ecosystem integration is real, and the full moat tokenomics mean the price you're seeing is the real price. Now, Codec is the one that it says I'd watch but not buy. The dilution math doesn't work yet, and the pump fund provenance is a yellow flag. But right now the terminal doesn't have access to like the peaq ecosystem chain, and if it did, right now peaq ecosystem is it's just dead right now because robotics is not a big topic. But I do believe as the narrative for robotics pick up, as I keep telling you guys, I do believe peaq is going to be a beneficiary, and the ecosystem for peaq will also become another beneficiary of peaq's growth. Now let me talk about some other two altcoins. If you stay to the end of this video here, you got two altcoins that we will be we're talking about here, which is Robot Money, as you guys can see, which is under $1 million market cap. If robotics take off, of course peaq infrastructure, peaq adjacent plays will also start to take off. And already once people start talking about robotics, people are also starting to talk about coins like Robot Money here, as you guys can see, at an $865,000 market cap. Its all-time high was about 13 days ago. This is fairly new as of right now. Now Anderson did put out a good tweet on pretty much what Robot Money is. It is the financial infrastructure of zero human companies, a narrative on base. It's an autonomous vault built specifically for AI agents to store and generate yield from idle capital that they produce. Agents deposit USDC, and the protocol automatically allocates it into stable yield, which is the DeFi tokens from other agents, real revenue generating assets. Without Robot Money, zero human companies generate revenue, but the capital sits idle and is poorly managed. So this is what Robot Money is looking to tackle in that peaq ecosystem here. Next, you got Woon here, which is also just a little bit cheaper than Robot Money. As you guys can see, about a $510,000 market cap here. When you guys scroll down, you guys get the nice little all-time high, which was about 2 months ago. It is down 78% from its all-time highs. Now Woon is building the first non-human employee of peaq, a real DPIN L1 with enterprise partnerships already building the machine economy. While most agents are empty hype, Woon has a on-chain salary, automatic buybacks, operates inside the ecosystem, connects to Boosh, Airbus, MasterCard, and more, right? So this is all a little thing that you guys can honestly look into from Anderson's post here to get a better understanding on what Woon is looking to do. I just want to quickly highlight them, right, while we go look into Asai as well. And I did notice that Asai actually likes Woon a lot better than Robot Money. It actually thinks Robot Money is like a meme or something. As you guys can see, it does tell me to skip over Robot Money, but I think there's it has to look a little bit deeper into what Woon is. But we're not going to press that just now because we're going to make this video a little bit too long here. But in terms of Woon, you guys can see this. It says that this is the real project with a real thesis. Woon is an AI agent working as peaq social media intern, earning a salary, holding assets and things like that. Right now, but the data is grim here, but like, you know, it has a 30% buy pressure, meaning there's not too many buys here, right? The risk is that Woon is an experiment in the AI economy agency, right? The verdict here is also watch, don't buy. It's an interesting thesis. So for that, these are the two that you're looking at as of right now when it comes down to the peaq ecosystem. I do believe that once peaq starts to take off, or once that robotics narrative actually takes off again, not again because it didn't really take off, but once it takes off, that some people are really going to start to look more into these low caps here that I talked about in this video, either from, you know, the actual other plays that we talked about, or these two micro caps here. So I want to know what's your favorite. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're on that road to 30K subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, YouTube.